What's up, YouTube? For today's video, with a full Arbok team. Derek, this one is for you. Now, people, I hope you had a good Christmas and relaxing time. I had a couple of days off here, but we're sort of getting back into the videos now. I'll be using 6 Arboks with 6 different movesets. I'm going to be using all of its abilities, Intimidate, Shedskin, and Unnerve. And I got some pretty exciting battles with this team. With these 6 Pokemon teams, it's always very difficult to use them because they have all the same weaknesses, which sort of adds to the challenge. Alright, we got a first random battle here. Not sure what my opponent's name is. Maybe someone could translate that one. But we've got a Gengar lead. So first Pokemon is going to be Arbok. I know that surprises you. See what I did there? And this started the battle, right? This was crazy. So this Gengar started setting up nasty plot, right? And I've got this physical Arbok. This is probably the best set I've got on my team. And it's a normal coil set with Sucker Punch and Gunk Shot and stuff like that. So I'm going for Sucker Punch. I'm finishing off this Gengar, but it didn't happen, right? So then it used Encore. So it Encored me into Sucker Punch, forcing me to only use that move. So I thought, you know what? I'll just go for Sucker Punch and stay in and see what they're going to do. Then they're for Mean Look. I'm like, what? So they're trapping me with Mean Look. So I can't do anything at the moment. I'm locked into Sucker Punch. So obviously it's like a struggle set, right? They're sort of like forcing me to do my move and not allowing me to swap out and stuff like that. So this Gengar is going to be setting up nasty plots here on 1 HP. So I thought, you know what? If my Encore ends, it's not the end of the world, right? Let's see what's going to happen. So they try to Encore me again, and they Encore my Arbok into Sucker Punch again. So I couldn't do much at the moment, right? They were setting up with nasty plots, and then they were like locking me in with the Encore and Mean Look combination. So they've set like a couple of... Then they swapped out after all that, bro. That literally took like 5 minutes. Everything between that, the long communicating, everything took ages. So anyway, they swapped in Glimmora, and then they got their cheeks clapped, right? So that's the end of Glimmora. Also, people, if you enjoy the videos, you want to see them in your subscriptions box, make sure you hit that like button, leave me a comment. What do you think of Arbok? In the comments. I've always liked Arbok as a really, really cool Pokemon. Tell me what you did for Christmas. Did you do nothing like me? Hopefully you did. Had a nice, relaxing time. Then they swapped in the Gengar again. They went for Terra Blast. Didn't fake my Arbok, and I finished it with Earthquake. So don't tell... I don't know. Don't tell me what I was thinking, but I have no idea what they're trying to do with that Gengar set. I'm pretty sure they were trying to make me struggle, though, and trapping me in and stuff like that. Anyway, so in comes Ursaluna. It's going to go for a headlong rush, and that's going to be the end of my very first Arbok here. So Arbok 1 is down, or Sup Bro is down, and we've got a Flame Orb, obviously, for my opponent's Pokemon. Next one here we got is History, get it? This Ursaluna is going to be History, get it? Now, we got this Substitute special set here. It's all about, subbing down, getting a sub to get that Duprite, and getting that Potato Berry to activate. Now, let me bring up the stats for this one. Well, that first Arbok as well was pretty standard. It was a max attack and max speed set out of nature. Salic Berry as the item, and the ability was Intimidate. Now, this one is Substitute, Belch, Mud Slap, and Dark Pulse. It doesn't really get a huge array of special attacking moves, but it's still pretty fun to use, and it's got Shedskin as the ability too. I don't know really why I put Shedskin on there. I mean, I guess I sort of tried to, mix the abilities that I had. Maybe if I had, if I got Foot to Sleep or something like that, or, Paralyze or something. So, with this set, I finally got it down to where I wanted to, and I went for a Belch. I burped on the Ursaluna, and of course, it wasn't enough to take it out, and then he used Rest. I'm like, oh, I had Rest the whole time, but it gets better, right? So, Ursaluna's taken a nap here. I'm like, well, I should be able to win this, right? This should be fine. It didn't have a berry, so I went for Belch again. I was like, good, this is a 2-hit KO. Then the Ursaluna was sleeping this turn. I was like, this is great, right? But it unloaded a Snore. I'm like, what the heck is this? So that's the end of my Arbok. So I don't know what was going on, but this person had some pretty interesting strategies, right? That one did make me laugh. So I went into Hysterical here. Get it? Hysterical. Now, this is a special Arbok, a PIMPNITE special, and we're going to drop the Ursaluna with a nice fat Giga Drain. This is a Choice Spec set. And we got Venoshock, Giga Drain, Dark Pulse, and Switcheroo. And we've got Terra-type Grass, and I've got max special attack and max speed with Modest Nature. So in comes Dragapult here. Dragapult isn't doing a lot of damage with Phantom Force, and I've got this bulky Arbok. So this Arbok is my Toxic Spike setup. Now, this was handy for poisoning opposing Pokemon, plus it was sort of good for my Choice Specs one with Venoshock too. Worked pretty nicely, but I was taking some, multiple hits here to be able to set up all my Toxic Spikes, and it worked pretty nicely. So this had Shenskin with Rest, obviously, and we had Haze, Rest, Dragon Tail, and Toxic Spikes. Max health and max defense, careful nature. So it was pretty bulky, right? So now we're going to go into Hiss Me Off, and this was a Assault Vest set. This was very, very tanky, and it was surprising how bulky it was, and managed to do a fair bit of damage there. So I managed to take that Phantom Force pretty well. I went for an Ice Fang, some solid damage there, and Dragapult has got a weakness policy, which was a little bit scary, but I did have actually Sucker Punch on this set too, which allowed me to take it out. Sucker Punch is actually very, very handy on Arbok because it gives it priority, plus it's very, very good against Psychic-type Pokemon too. A lot of them can be frail. So here comes our Goldengo here. I went for the Fire Fang. Yeah, I did give it Fire Fang. I had Sucker Punch and Leech Life. Assault Vest is the item. Unnerve is the ability. Max Health and Max Attack, Adamant Nature. Worked pretty well. So now they're going to go for a Make It Rain, which I kind of expected there. Since I'm so bulky on the special side, I actually managed to live that and get some good damage off on the Goldengo. Now, Goldengo actually had Rocky Helmet, which was interesting. I didn't really expect that. Now we got my last Arbok here. This one is making me the Arbok. It's all based around like this scumbag flinching set, right? So we got Coil, Rest, Bite, and Glare. And it's designed to boost the attack with Coil, make it a little bit more tanky. Bite flinches, and Glare is obviously the way of paralyzing the opponent, right? In this case, I couldn't really do any glaring. I could do like some biting, but that's about it. So Goldengo is going to be setting up the substitute again. I'm going to break that sub. This is Jolly Nature, and it's got max speed and max health. So I'm making it fast and bulky. So as you can see, I'm able to Make It Rain pretty well after he used it initially. So I'm going to finish off Goldengo there, some Rocky Helmet damage, and we got one more Pokemon left. But this last Pokemon was very, very scary, right? We got Urshifu, so I knew that Surging Strikes was, definitely coming my way here. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to test this bulk, right? I've got a Toxic Spikes up on the field. Let's go for Rest, and let's see what what actually happened here. So I'm going to sleep. Urshifu's going to go for its little Surging Strike. So I see the first hit. I'm like, that's going to be pretty close. There's the second hit. Obviously, this is critting, bypassing my coils, and I lived on 1 health. You wouldn't read about it, right? So I got 3 hits. I lived that. Shedskin out like pops there, allowing me to wake up and use another move, which is crazy, crazy timing. So 1 HP live and Shedskin. I was going to go for a bite there for some damage, but it did have Aqua Jet, but that was pretty cool. So my last Pokemon is Arbok here. This is the special Arbok. I got to Intimidate, not that it matters there on Surging Strikes. And I've got Terra Grass. So I thought Terra Grass is going to be perfect here with special Arbok. Not many people would say that, right? But with the Surging Strikes, that's not going to be very effective. Plus, I can hit Urshifu with a special move. So this was quite a long battle too. It went pretty much all the way to the end. So it was a double Terra right at the end here. So I was like, I wonder what they're going to do. Terra Water. But they went for a Terra Fighting. So I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe they're going to go for a fighting move instead of predicting my Terra. So I actually outspeed, which is pretty cool. I got the Giga Drain off first. Solid damage there. Urshifu's special special defense isn't very good. They still went for Surging Strikes here. I guess they tried to change their type around there. Maybe they thought I had a super effective move against them or something like that. But in the end, Arbok actually managed to live all 3 of that moves. And the Urshifu has got like 1 turn before it's going to die to poison. They went for a Desperation Aqua Jet there. That's nowhere near going to be enough. Also with the Intimidate up. And that is the end of the battle. So a crazy clutch at the end there. Thank you to the battle, whoever that was. Someone could translate that. That would be awesome. And let's get on to battle number 2. Let's slither into battle number 2. Okay, I got a good one here. Tell me your best snake jokes in the comment section. I want to read some good ones while I'm having my breakfast tomorrow. Please, give me a good snake joke. I want to have a chuckle in the morning. All right, so we got our next battle here. We got a Lunala lead, and we're going to have it using a Moongeist Beam. That's not going to tickle, even if you're holding a pickle. So this Historical is going to go for Dark Pulse. Good damage there, but it is a special set, and with its ability, it's not going to be doing too much. But at least I've broken the Shattered Shield now. So next Pokemon is Arbok. I know this surprised you so much. We're going to go into this Sucker Punch set because I want to just outspeed and take it out. So pretty good start there, getting rid of Lunla. Now the next Pokemon, of course, is a Naughty Hackmon for the surprise trade. So you get the Pokemon that's nicknamed one of these names, just throw it in the trash. So doing a swap out here, they're going to use Iron Defense. I was like, what the? Okay, so they're boosting the defense. I thought, well, I'll just set up Toxic Spikes here. You know, this would be good. If they're going to try and set up Iron Defenses, I might be able to get my layers of Toxic Spikes off and then use Dragon Tail. And that'll be really, really good because I'll take like hardly any damage. So first things first, like in case they've got some other move linked to that or some strategy, let's go for Haze. Let's get rid of those drops. Then they use Focus Energy. I'm like, what is this set? So they've got it's like Iron Defense and Focus Energy. Like, what the heck? So I've got the Toxic Spikes going up on the field there. It's just like Body Press. And then they start setting up Iron Defenses again, right? Because remember, I removed their boost from earlier on. So that was setting them up like crazy. And then I was trying to Dragon Tail them out. So I got my spikes up and Dragon Tail them out. Did 2 damage. That's fine. So good quality, sort of setup there. Then they brought in Deoxys S. So I was like, oh, this could be very bad. So they are poisoned. I know they most definitely probably have Psycho Boost. It was hard to swap in here because my whole team was poisoned, right? Now, I do have a Dark Terror on at least one of these. My last one has Dark Terror, but I thought, no, I'm going to have to just stay in this, see what happens here. Now, I want to say, I actually want to say that Critical Hit could have mattered there. Could have mattered, but that's the end of it anyway, my Arbok. So I'm going to go to the next one because I was a little bit hissed off. And then Deoxys Speed went for a recover. I'm like, what? You didn't take a lot of damage there, bro. So I went for the Leech Life, did some good damage there. So I don't know, like, I'm not sure why they went for recover. Maybe I have no idea. They only took a little bit of damage regardless. Maybe they were expecting Sucker Punch earlier on, and then it didn't happen. So I managed to fake do that anyway. I'd say they thought I'd use Sucker Punch. So in comes Arceus Dark, I believe. And now it's going to go for the Perisong. So Perisong Arceus. So some interesting sets getting used here. I was just using Leech Life because number one, you get that big suck, you get that big health recovery, and it was super effective against all those Pokemon. So this Arceus, we had 3 turns each, and then it had Seismic Toss. I was like, I'll give them props for that, Perisong Seismic Toss Arceus. That's sounds like a PIMPNITE special set. So I'm getting some help back here rather nicely, and Arceus is going to be it's going to be fainting in the next turn. I went for Sucker Punch. They knew that I'd probably go for that, but then they went for Perisong again and it failed. So I guess they didn't really have any forms of recovery on their Arceus at all. Or I know, stalling with Protect or whatever. Next Pokemon is going to be Giratina. Now, Giratina is going to be a problem because there's not much I can do to it. They know that I've got Sucker Punch. Let's swap and see what they're going to do. However, they're going to go for Earth Power on the swap, which does a lot of damage. Now, History does have its Potato Berry, which actually rolled it, which is really nice. So I thought, I'll go for Dark Pulse here. That should do some okay damage. And I got pretty good damage there. And they're going to go for Shadow Force. I was like, oh, I'd love to go for a sub here, but I can't. So I got outsped, and that is the end of my Arbok. But I got some good damage there with the first Dark Pulse, at least, right? Next Pokemon here is going to be the Arbok. I'm getting a little bit hissed off here, and I can either go for Ice Fang or I can go for Sucker Punch. Now, we got Hairy Mama's cousin swapping back in. This thing is super, super thick, but it is poison, which is good. That's going to help me out a lot. So I went for Ice Fang on the swap there. It virtually didn't do a lot of damage. This thing is very, very tanky. So I'm going to swap out here because I need that Assault Vest Pokemon for later on, and I went into Sup Bro, right? We got that Intimidate. Then they went for a Terror. So like, I wonder what Terror they're going to use here. I was thinking, right, it's probably going to be Terror Electric, right? But then it was Terror Fighting. Like, Terror Fighting, my whole team's poisoned. So that one did surprise me a little bit. So here we go. Here's the Terror Fighting, and they're going to use Drain Punch. So I feel like, I mean, that still did good damage, not going to lie. I feel like they were trying to go for that and get recovery through Drain Punching. Probably better than what they had. Maybe they had, like, Wild Charge or something like that, too. So they'll go for Drain Punch. I was going for Coil. I knew I could win this matchup too, at least do some damage with that. Then they popped the Belly Drum this time. Like, oh, that was very, very lucky. I decided to go for, you know, the attacking move then. So I took him out with Sucker Punch, and that's going to be the end of the Iron Hand. So that was good I feigned that, because then, you know, with the Drain Punch and Belly Drum, that would have swept through my team pretty easily. So in comes the Giratina. They're going to go for a Shadow Force. I managed to get off a Sucker Punch there before they did that, and then on the turn of waiting for it, I went for a Coil, so that would make my Arbok, you know, a little bit bulkier. So here comes the Shadow Force from Giratina, and I lived it very, very nicely too. Now I'm going to go for Gunk Shot. I've got Coil up there. I know that it's not going to miss, and that is the end of Giratina. One more Pokeball left on the legendary Pokemon team is going to be, another Hackmon. Now, this is pretty funny. So we've got some poison here, which is good. I went for Sucker Punch because I knew that I'd probably get outsped there, and then they went for Scale Shot. So Scale Shot is going to increase their speed. It's going to make them less bulky though, but the problem is their speed. So it's like, okay, I need to get some damage on this one, and then maybe I'll get some toxic damage here. So, but there's a long way before I can beat it just with toxic. So I swapped into my shiny Arbok here. They're going to pop Earthquake. I was like, oh no, this is very, very bad. They could have me here. So that's the end of Arbok. I've got one more Arbok left, and I'm still probably like 3 turns away from it fainting the poison. So I went to hiss me off here. I got the Unnerve, and this one actually, it has Terror as well. So I thought, if I go for Terror on this one, I can at least resist that Earthquake, being the Terror Bug, right? This was Terror Bug with Leech Life, which is going to be like very, very resistant to that. So here it comes. We've got that Terror Bug. Here comes the Earthquake, and it is going to do donkeys. And now I could go for a Terror Bug Leech Life. Will not only be super effective, but it'll be enough to take out the Roaring Moon, and a nice salty little baby bottle there at the end. So if you enjoyed that video, people, make sure you leave a like. They were absolutely fuming there. Our legendary team got smoked there. Next Pokemon battle here, I have no idea who my opponent is, but we've got a Greninja lead. Now, we seen some Salt in the last battle, right? You watch the Salt in this battle. This was just the salty, right? Maybe it could be like even more Salt, right? So Greninja is happily setting up Toxic Spikes against a Mono Poison team, right? So I don't know what's going on there, right? So Greninja is now going for Night Slash, so it's not really doing a lot of damage. I've got some Rocky Helmet happening too. So I'm going for Dragon Tail here. I've set my Toxic Spikes up. I'm phasing out Greninja. And then in comes Drifblim. I'm like, okay, so Drifblim may try and Baton Pass here. To minimize it, or something like a Sub or something like that. So I went for Dragon Tail on the minimize. So that was lucky, right? I managed to get a Dragon Tail so they couldn't pass it off. And then Greninja come back in. So Greninja is now poison. The only way my Arbok could get poison is if I went for like Terror, then swapped it in, but then one of my other Arboks would have to absorb the Toxic Spikes, right? So they went for Ice Beam. I went for the Dragon Tail again, phased out the Greninja, right? In comes Mew this time. So Mew's going to get dragged out, and it's going to get poisoned. So I'm like, all right, this is not too bad. Now Mew's going to set the Substitute up here, and Dragon Tail lands. But I know Mew is pretty bulky, and this has no attack EV. So I knew to be able to live a one Dragon Tail at least there before the Substitute was broken. Now, what they did is they Baton Pass with their Mew, and I was like, oh, I bet they're going to go into their Drifblim, right, to try and get those minimized up and then pass them to another Pokemon. So back in comes the Drifblim, and it's got a Sub. I went for Dragon Tail, landed it again, which is good. And we have 2 Dragon Tails. That was enough to fade Drifblim Substitute. Now, Drifblim's going to go for its own Substitute here. They know that Dragon Tail is a 2-hit KO to break a sub there, 2-hit KO to break it, and then they're going to go for Minimize. So they've got 1 Minimize up behind the sub. So this is a bad situation for me because they're going to be able to set up there really, really quickly. Then I landed Dragon Tail again, which is pretty good. So that's going to break the sub here. So they're desperately trying to get these boosts out. And I thought, you know what, this is getting a bit hairy scary. I think they're going to probably eventually beat me here. I'll swap in my next Arbok and absorb the spikes and go for 100% accuracy moves, right? So I went for Dark Pulse, and Dark Pulse is super effective. I feel like if I can get rid of this Drifblim, this will be a big hole in their plan, right, on their team, right? So they're going for Strength Sap now against me, so they're doing that. Obviously, they know that I'm a special attacker, but they're doing it to get their health back so they can get another Substitute off to then, pass another. So I managed to hit another Dark Pulse, and it almost took them out. Then they're going for Desperation Strength Saps at the moment. They're really, really trying to get enough health to get a sub up and then pass it off and keep all their little boosts, right? So Dark Pulse finally misses there, and Drifblim gets a Substitute. I'm like, oh man, this is bad, right? This is very bad. So I landed a Dark Pulse, which is great. that broke their subs. I'm like, oh, I only need to break like their substitute this turn, and that'll get rid of their drift them. So I bet they're going to try and set up again. So instead of that, they went for a they went for a strength sap again. So they got their health back again, but it was having not as good effect anymore because my attack had been dropped so many times. And then I landed a Dart Pulse on the drift limb, and I can't believe, I think they like threw the switch out the window after that. They got the biggest, saltiest rage quit ever. So 2 salty rage quits so far. All right, let's get on to the next battle here. We have a battle against Humpdown, and we've got an Al Creamy called Cum Girl. So obviously this is going to be a very exciting battle. So this is a random nicknames team here that was from the surprise trade. So if one of these if this Al Creamy is yours, let me know in the comment section, right? Because that means I had to say this nickname because of you. So this is a bad matchup, right? I had an Al Creamy that was trying to kiss me, and I had an Arbok which was doing no damage at all. So I had to swap out here and try and go into my other one. So then we had Al Creamy swap out, and we had a greeting coming, which is called Zootopia. So I'm going to go for a switcheroo here, and I was trying to give the Al Creamy a choice specs, right? Try and lock it in there so it couldn't set up and stuff like that. However, the greeting got a choice specs, and I got a Staffberry, which is not too bad there, because I might be able to boost my special attack. So I'm going for Dart Pulse here against this Greedent. It's not really doing a lot of damage without without my choice specs, because it's not primarily the special attacker. And Greedent is slowly dropping my accuracy. So then comes a Milotic called Love Heart. I guess they nicknamed that because of its beauty and stuff like that. And I knew that I would not be able to land any attacks here. So I went into history, and now the Milotic is going to go for Attract. So far, this team is just like 100% designed just to annoy the hell out of me, right? Like these movesets, like, you got Mud Slap, you got Attract, Whirlpool. So, it always happens to me. People love to troll me with these sets. So I can't swap out here. I'm trapped in love here with this Milotic, So I'm going for a Mud Slap. I don't see competitive ability, which is at least good. And I can see the Milotic does have the leftovers. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to just not show leftovers recovering the Milotic every single time, right? Because it does go for quite a while. So Milotic, and now is going to go for a Confuse Ray. So I would never run a set like this, by the way. So we have Milotic going for Whirlpool, Attract, and Confuse Ray at the same time. Pretty much rendering my Arbok virtually useless. Just sitting there doing nothing right and taking damage from Whirlpool and stuff like that. So Arbok is going to eat the Star Bear. I was hoping for a good one, and I got a special attack rise. Like, wow, that was so lucky. Let's get a special attacking move, and then I hit myself. I'm like, oh, come on. And then Whirlpool is going to take me out. So that was my one chance to get like a belt drop there, +2. And that would have done, I'm not saying it would have taken Milotic out, but it would have done, I'd say, at least half its health. So we're going to go into Hysterical again, and then we're going to do a swap into Megami, right? So at least with this the one Arbok on my team, the one male one, it was going to work. So we had the Milotic having to swap out there because the Attract strategy wasn't going to do as well. So I went for Glare, and I'm going to paralyze this Vaporeon. We're not going to talk about this Vaporeon nickname. And now we're going to have the Arbok setting up coils here. So it's going to be attack and defense boost and accuracy boost. So I thought I might be able to set up against this thing. So now we got Scummy Water, of course, and that's doing a lot of damage. And I was going for the Bite and the Flinch combination here and the Paralysis. So I'm going for Bite here against the Vaporeon. Unfortunately, the set isn't infallible, right? It's going to eventually, the opponent is going to be able to slip a move through. In that case, it did it a little bit too early, and that's the end of my Arbok, right? So I went into the special Arbok with Giga Drain, and I was hoping that I could finish Vaporeon, but it was just too bulky, right? I managed to live that, and Muddy Water actually missed, so I actually got a small break there and a little bit of luck there, so I managed to take no damage with this Arbok, which is nice. So that's going to be the end of the Vaporeon. That's the first Pokemon actually fainted there. Next one we got is Eevee, so EVD's nuts or Eevee nut? Wait, Eevee's nut. Eevee's nuts? What? I have no idea. Anyway, so we're going to go for a switcheroo. I have a feeling that it might have Everlight or a troll item. So I gave it the Starberry, and I've got this Everlight here. It's funny because 2 of my Pokemon actually had Starberry at one point there. So it's going to be setting up Calm Minds, which is going to be not exactly fun against my special attacker. So this Eevee is setting up the Calm Minds constantly. So it either wants to do a couple of things. It either wants to Baton Pass him, or it wants to use them in stored power, because that's usually what the evolutions can do with their boost now. Since they got Carmine and stuff like that, it's pretty good. So it's getting all these boosts up here. I'm trying to get rid of it. I'm hoping for a crit, but it's not going to happen. Here comes stored power, and that is going to drop Arbok. And that's going to be a problem for most of my team because it is a psychic type move. So I went into my next Arbok, got that berry there, which actually counts as a start berry. The start berry actually would have been activated. Like, watch this, right? If they got the start berry activation then, they would have fainted me with stored power. But Unearth actually counted that boost, right? And that was a double boost to a stat. So that was crazy momentous, that actual turn there. Now out comes Cum Girl. We're going to go for that ice flame. We're going to try and freeze that old creamy. Like, you know when you get ice cream, right? You got that ice cream and it melts a little bit, right? You want to put it back in the fridge to make sure it doesn't melt, and then it's nice, right? So it keeps using recover here like all the time. So I'm thinking I either have to get lucky with a crit or a freeze or something. So I thought, you know what, that's probably not going to happen. Let's swap out and go into Arbok here. So we got Draining Kiss here, so it's got a form of recovery. It's not doing very, that much against my team. So as you know, this Arbok is my Toxic Spike set, so I thought there are quite a few Pokemon remaining here, right? So I thought, let's go for Haze here at least and get rid of some of those boosts. Now, with Draining Kiss actually is a physical contact move. So every time it used Draining Kiss, it would actually do damage to itself with the Rocky Elm, which was pretty cool. There's only a couple of special attacking moves that do count as contacting moves. So it's going for Draining Kiss, but it is recovering a bit from Draining Kiss, so it's not overall taking too much damage from Rock Armor. So this was going on for 4,000 turns, so I'm not sitting through every single Draining Kiss. So I had to swap out. So I went into Sup Bro, and then Alcremie swapped out. So we sort of had both the same sort of idea there about swapping out at the same time. So I thought, all right, at least Milotic is poison. But I was like, this is probably going to have Marvel Scale, knowing my luck, right? So I got the Arbok, I got that coil up. I had to hit this Milotic hard and fast, right? But I had to get rid of, through all the attracts, infatuations, confusions, whirlpools, and all those sort of things. So I needed some luck here. I needed some really good luck, and I needed it right at the start before all those three things actually happened. Then the Milotic went for a Confuse Ray. I was like, oh no, I've got to get through Parafusion now. So I thought, no, it's not going to happen. Let's go into Civilian here. So I went back into Civilian, and now it's going to go for Whirlpool. At least here I'm trapped in. But what I was trying to do was trying to get Milotic to take a bit of damage from Toxic before I swapped it in. So Milotic is now going to go for the Infatuation on my Arbok again. And as you know, I couldn't really do a lot with this thing. But I could go Dragon Tail or I could go Haze. That was really my only option here. So it's going for Confuse Rays. I was really trying to get the Dragon Tail off. And then I was going to swap in another Pokemon and try and set up, and then Milotic would be left. But with this case here and the Arbok being confused and attracted at the same time, I actually managed to go and get one move off, though, only a single move. So this sort of allowed me to get a bad poison on the Milotic at least, if it did in turn swap out, which I was hoping for, right? So I knew I'd be able to live the next turn there of its attacking move, but there was still a Whirlpool up, so my plan sort of my plan sort of failed there after I hit myself in confusion when I was going to go for a Dragon Tail. So it failed, right? But at least I got Toxic Spikes up. Maybe I should have gone for Dragon Tail, but then I wouldn't have got the second layer of Toxic Spikes up. So 3 minutes left of the battle here. I've got 2 more Arboks left, and I've only taken out 2 singular Pokemon, so things are not going well here. So into Sup Bro here, and with this one, we're going to go for a Gunk Shot here, and that's going to take out the Alcremie. Not the Alcremie, the Milotic. Oh my god, I'm going to have to tell you a joker. So in comes Alcremie, right? It's like, oh, I don't want to use Gunk Shot against this, right? But I have to, so I'm going to go for Gunk Shot against the Oh, never mind. Don't even mention that in the comment section. All right, anyway, so that's the end of Alcremie. I took it out there, and we got 1 more Pokemon left. Oh, sorry, we got 2 more Pokemon left, being the Alcremie. So to the person that that traded that Alcremie through, that was very cruel. So this Greenan is using Mudslap here. I don't think they could do a lot of damage. We got 59 seconds of this battle to go. I did a swap here into Arbok, and I thought, well, I might be able to get some damage here with Terra Bug Leech Life against Greedon, because in this sort of moment when there's the same amount of Pokemon left, it goes down to how much health you have left. Now, the last Pokemon is Skelly Dirge. Like, Oh, I have to go for Terra here anyway. So I thought, well, Leech Life isn't going to do much to Skeleturge because it's fire type and it's going to resist it. Plus, it's still got full health too. So I thought, I think this is not going to be very good for me because there's one Pokemon that's lost a bit of health, but this Skeleturge, you know, he hadn't lost enough health here. So in the end, I did get some health back from Leech Life, not very much at all. Skeleturge did take some poison damage, but it wasn't enough here to actually win the battle because my opponent still had more overall health than I did. So there you go, people. I hope you enjoyed that battle. We're just going to forget about that El Creamy. Let's get on to the final battle of today's video. We actually have some really, really long videos, or battles in this video today. This is the battle against our Bebble Pickles, and we have a Seedot leads. So Seedot obviously is a very scary Pokemon. I'm very, very scared by this. So Seedot's going to go for Quick Attack. Now, I don't know what strategy they had going here with having Quick Attack. So Quick Attack did a little bit of damage. I switched the items around. I want to see what I had. So it's like maybe it's got Sash or something, and I had a Sash, and I gave it a Choice Spec. So now they're trapped in with Choice Specs. And we're going to take out this Seedot. So this is a team based on my Nuzlocke as well. And there was this, there was a Dratini, and it was like I got forced to use a Dratini called Spank Me Daddy. Like, don't ask, but if you were there, you were there. Like, what I do this Nuzlocke right, and then like people can nickname my Pokemon, and sometimes these nicknames, these naughty nicknames, get through, right? So we had this Dragonair. It was using Iron Head, and it was paralyzing. I've never done a Dragonair set like this in my life. Also, it was very, very bulky as well. So I had to get rid of that Everlight and give it a Focus Sash. So I thought, well, Focus Sash isn't going to be very useful for Dragonair, right? So I'm getting flinched here. I've got 2 health, and I managed to get a bit of damage off with Arbok. So I was pretty happy about that. I didn't think I'd be able to even attack that turn. So we're going to go to the next Arbok. Hopefully this Dragonair is going to be history, but we're going to have a swap out here. And we got Palkia coming in. So Palkia is going to be very, very tanky, even if it's like a troll set. So I went for Mud Slap. I thought, let's get that accuracy drop, and its attack's going to miss, which is good. So I thought, I'll set up a Substitute here, and I might be able to get this this going, right? So Palkia is going to have Rock Slide, so it seems to be like also a flinching strategy. So I don't know, like my audience loves to use flinching, infatuation, paralysis, everything against me they can, right, to try and make me sell it. So then the Palkia is going to swap out, and then Gibble comes in. I think that's a nickname, like that nickname says Ben IQ 0. I think it's meant to be Ben IQ 1000. Like, this is my audience trying to like roast me and stuff. So we got that we got that Sandstorm Gibble. I think it's like Sandvale as well, and it was meant to be, obviously it's a troll set too. So I'm going for Mud Slap. I'm going to try and make the Gibble actually miss the sand too, because I know what they're trying to do. So Gibble's going to have it actually dropped, and it's going to use Dragon Breath. That was actually a pretty cool looking camera angle then for Gibble, like zoom right into its his little face. So Dragon Breath is going to break my sub. I've got one more turn here to activate my berry. Oh, sorry, I've got 2 turns. I've got 20 health left there. I'm trying to get Belch to land here in the sand. So Dragon Breath actually misses there, and I've got 2 turns now because I've got 2 left. My move misses, and then the Dragon Breath is going to hit my Substitute again, and my sub is actually getting faded by 1 Dragon Breath. So it definitely has special attack Evo. So Arbok takes 1 hit of the sand, and it's cooked after this, and that's going to land on the Gibble, which is good because the next turn I would have been faded to Dragon Breath for sure. And funnily enough, the Sandstorm actually subsides that turn too. So we got Palkia coming in here. I've got my Belch ready to go, and it used Fling, and it fainted me with a Flung Experience L Candy. Oh, man. So they waited for that exact moment to faint me with the Experience Candy. That's something I would never do. So that was pretty salty. So I'm getting salty now. I need to take out this Palkia. So pretty much they just waited there for a Pokemon to be on low health to finish me off a Fling. And then I got a Freeze Tax there with Ice Fang. So I froze, I guess you could say that I froze Space right. So we got our Palkia, it's frozen, and it's taken many, many Ice Fangs. I'm going to take a quick sip here of some G Fuel. I just used code SOLD on my G Fuel, got that fat 20% off. And, I saved and I hydrated myself, right? If you know, you know. Hit that G Fuel up there with code SOLD. All right, next Pokemon is going to be Dragonair. It's going to come in and use Thunder Wave. Now, this particular Arbok, no, this one actually had Shed Skin, so I was hoping for Shed Skin to activate. Now, the battle between this Arbok and this Dragonair did go for quite some time. So I had a feeling that Dragonair must have Rest, and because Rest is pretty good on Dragonair because it also gets the ability Shed Skin. Now, Shed Skin is a 33% chance to activate, for the Pokemon to wake up, right? So it's nothing, I wouldn't call it the most amazing, chances, right? It's kind of low. So I'm trying to fake this Dragonair, but the thing is, Ice Fang isn't powerful enough to actually take it out right away, like in the right amount of hits, right? So I need like 3 hits to take it out or whatever. So by the time I got to the last one, Dragonair could just heal itself up again. So as you can see, that's 1, 2, and then it'll take 3, right? And also Dragonair was, in this case, was faster too, and I was getting paralyzed. So I kept getting paralyzed here at the wrong time, but also their Shed Skin wouldn't activate at all. So virtually at this point, they had no activations of Shed Skin at all. They were waiting for like the full time for Rest to wear off, which is making it interesting, right? So I got it down to where the heck did Arbok? Did you see that? Arbok disappeared. Like, go back. You can see that Arbok, actually, I don't know where it went. I think Arbok went to the moon or something. Anyway, so Dragonair's going to get us help back. I'm going for Ice Fang. I'm getting good damage. I'm like, all right, I keep going for Ice Fang. I got this W. I'm just going to keep going for Ice Fang. So I get the second one. I'm like, yes, here we go. I finally take it out. So the Dragonair is asleep here, and then I go for my attacking move, and then I get paralyzed again. I'm like, are you kidding me? So now Dragonair is fully able to go for a rest again. So I needed to not get paralyzed once out of 3 turns. That's what I was hoping for, and hope that Shed Skin wouldn't activate either, which so far it actually hadn't. So this time I went for a Leech Life here to try and get some health back, because I noticed my health was starting to get below, and I was like, all right, I'm going to swap. Let's try Civilian out this time. So the Dragonair is sleeping right now, and I was like, let's set up the Toxic Spikes. I know that I can take this Dragonair out, and they're not really getting too lucky with Shed Skin, so I'll set this up for the last 2 remaining Poké, right? So Dragonair at last got a Shed Skin. I was starting to wonder if it actually had Shed Skin, and it's got Ice Beam as well, so it seems to be like a freeze-hacking sort of set. So I got the Dragon Tail up, I did some good damage, and I swapped that Dragonair. So I thought that's going to sort of at least help me a little bit there if they're going to try and heal themselves from poison. At least they won't be able to heal themselves from rest, like on that, the same kind of turn. So in comes Blaziken. This is Dr. Dong, the Blaziken, and it's going to go for the Blaze Kick. So this is some names of Pokemon that I've used throughout some of my Nuzlocke here, which is cool too. So this is an interesting Blaziken set. So it's got Blaze Kick and it's got Speed Boost, which seems sort of like standardish, I guess. Well, not so much Blaze Kick, but it had a Fire type move and Speed Boost, right? So it's got like a couple of turns here before it's going to faint, and I went into my Arbok here with Intimidate, so I needed to drop this thing's attack. Then the Blaziken swapped out, obviously, with -1 on attack you would. And then comes Arceus Bug. I'm like, oh, this is the best Arceus ever. Like, this is the best Arceus type in the world, right? So I'm going for Gumshot. It's not really doing a lot of damage. And, I was scared of them bug moves, right? I was scared of that Judgment Bug. So I went to Arbok here. I was kind of curious what moves it would have had. And then at that Judgment, I'm like, maybe it doesn't have anything to hit me with at all. So Judgment Bug is doing too much damage. And then Arceus uses Healing Wish. I'm like, wait. The Healing Wish is going to heal that. I bet it's going to heal that Blaziken, right? So the Blaziken comes in. It took a lot of damage, and now it's going to be healed. So the thing about Healing Wish, it'll heal your health up, and it'll heal your status off too. However, the status from the Toxic Spikes will come after. So unfortunately, yeah, for the Blaziken, it still gets poisoned. Now, the Blaziken such is in Curse, so it's got that Curse and it's got Speed Boost too, so which is pretty cool, right? Because with the Speed Boost, you can get rid of the Speed Drop from Curse, and you retain extra bulk from the Curse defensive rise, and you're still getting attack too, which is pretty cool. And you only need like 1 turn of not using Curse to increase your speed by +1. So now we've got a Terra on Blaziken, and the Blaziken is going to have Terra Ghost. I'm like, oh, it's going to have Terra Ghost Curse. So that's another option that it can use too. I was thinking maybe it's got some other attacking move, and then it answered my question right away. It had the Shadow Claw, so that's going to be the end of the Arbok there. So I've got 2 more Arboks left, and we got another long battle. So many long battles against this team. So I went to Sup Bro here, got that Intimidate off, which is going to help. I got a Sucker Punch off, and they're going to use Shadow Claw. I knew I'd be able to live this one, only just though. And now it's going to get hit by its poison. Basically, next turn, it's cooked, right? So the Blaziken is going to use Curse, and it's going to put a Curse on my Arbok instead of attacking me. So that is the end of the Blaze. It's going to be a cool set there, and Arbok is going to get hit by the curse. I actually managed just to live that. So I've got, next turn I'm cooked, right? I have to swap out if I want to live. So I got a berry, which is the Starlight berry to boost my speed, and we had the Dragonair coming here. So Dragonair pretty much didn't have anything. I thought I was like, I couldn't remember all of its moves. I thought maybe it had like Aqua Jet or something like that. So I went for Sucker Punch, and it managed to get a rest of it. I probably should have just attacked it before I tried to do that. So I'm going to die to the curse here. I've got one more Poké left, being the Arbok, the last Arbok, and that's like the flinching set. So I thought, all right, that's fine. I can go for a Terra here, and I can go for Terra Dark and Terra Dark Bite, and that's going to do a lot of damage to Dragonair too. And I should definitely have more health than the last Dragonair. So the same thing didn't happen as last battle, where I had less health and I managed to lose the battle there. So we got 10 seconds left of the battle there. I went for Bite, got some pretty good damage there against a Dragonair, and Dragonair is going to stay to sleep. I bet you they were going for a rest that turn to get, and then Shenskin activates at the end of the turn. And that is it. The timer is over, and that is the end of the battle. A salty finish. I hope you people enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.